Ladies and gents, welcome back. How dare you, is the words from You Stole My Childhood, Thunderburger. Greta Thunberg is making the rounds on social media today because of a spontaneous event where she drew thousands and thousands and thousands of people to see her speak. I've got a bit of the speech right here. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Technical error. Wrong speech. Here we go. On Twitter here she is in Glastonbury giving her speech.
These crises are the biggest story in the world. And it must be spoken as far and as wide as possible, as far as our voices can carry, and even further still.
Did you see the crowd that she drew? Did you see that crowd? Okay, so just before we get into what she has to say, nobody was there for Greta. I put this out on social media here. This is a cheap ploy to make it look like she has crowds in support. Cram her little speech between bands setting up. She's at the Glastonbury Festival, by the way. Glastonbury, one of the largest music festivals in the world, takes place, I believe, every year. It had a year off because of COVID, and so it drew even bigger crowds this time. She showed up to Glastonbury for the audience, not the other way around. But let's have a look at her little speech here, because this is a ploy, and this is why it's making the rounds, and this is why it gets the viewing that it gets on social media, because they see the crowd and they go, "Oh my God, look at all the people that showed up for her environmental movement." Well, no, they came to see Oasis or whoever was at the event. But here's what she had to say.
These crises are the biggest story in the world. And it must be spoken as far and as wide as possible, as far as our voices can carry, and even further still. It must be told in articles, newspapers, in movies and songs, at breakfast tables, lunch meetings and family gatherings, in lifts, at bus stops and in rural shops, in schools, boardrooms and marketplaces, in the fields, in the warehouses, and on the factory floors.
So you need to be that incessant, annoying person that can't leave a single situation unmolested by your environmentalist rhetoric in conversation. She's talking about, bring this to everywhere you go. You need to tell everybody about how environmental you are. This is a serious thing that she's advocating here. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for the environment. I want a clean environment. I ride my electric bike to work every day, and I do my part. I like to keep the environment clean, but this isn't about environment. This is about eating your bugs and an agenda, because she's not alone in this battle. This isn't her fight in particular. I'll get into more of this, but let's see what else she had to say.
At union meetings, political workshops, and football games.
Yeah, just
in kindergartens and in old people's homes.
Indoctrinate them kids.
And at music festivals like Glastonbury.
Where the crowds are. If you held a speech, it would be like watching Jean Charest giving one of his speeches. Nobody's showing up. Yeah, the crowds cheer because they love Glastonbury.
And on the evening news. On dusty country roads and in the alleys of our cities and towns. These crises are the biggest...
Yeah, okay. Now get off the stage. We want to see the bands. That's really the environment here. But where are we? This is recycling is one of the things that we're told to do. And this is a great video. I'm going to show a little clip from this. This is The Great Recycling Lie by Sorel Amour Finance. And this came out just a few days ago, but here's a clip from it.
Let me ask you a simple question. Are you a total piece of No, of course you're not, because you recycle. You put paper and cardboard in its own bin and cans and bottles in another. And of course, you definitely separate out all your plastics. Why?
Because you told me to.
Because your entire life, that's what you've been told to do. Kids are taught early that recycling is a good thing. And activists like young Greta want to shame you if you don't do it. But here's the thing, some recycling is good for the environment and waste reduction. But when it comes to plastic, recycling it is mostly a big fat scam. And like most scams, it's got everything to do with money.
Right. It's got a lot to do with money. I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to that video because it's a really good one. It's about 10 minutes long. Check it out. Very, very informative and very, very telling of how this stuff works. Now, Greta was in the news just a few years ago when we weren't allowed to criticize her because she's too young. Guess what? She's old enough now. Sorry, as soon as you hit 18, fair game, you're out in the public. You're going to get criticized. Greta Thunberg sparks fresh outrage over toolkit tweet on farmers' protest, deletes it, and reposts hours later. Now, what are we talking about in a toolkit? Greta Thunberg sparks a criminal conspiracy probe within India on an accidental tweet. So this is what was going on at the time here. And it says, here's decoding Thunberg's toolkit, which is at the center of the outrage. Now, this is a case where she accidentally posted out a tweet saying, here's the toolkit if you want to help. She didn't realize her handlers are sending this to her and not to share it out to everybody. But she shared out this Google Docs, a document on Google that was sent out to other people with influencers, you know, the types. And Greta Thunberg, don't be mistaken. She's part of this whole World Economic Forum Great Reset thing. This is very much a part of what she is pushing for. The document shared mistakenly by Greta shows that how Rihanna, another celebrity, if you don't know who she is, and others, or other such tweets weren't organic. And a plan of a larger PR campaign to malign India makes it important to treat all such statements, tweets by important people in India and abroad, to be seen in the context of the planned and pre-scripted campaign. And basically what the thing was it was this toolkit of how to get the information out, how to do this thing. It was all made by somebody behind the scenes. It wasn't her. These events, they're not impromptu, they're not organic, they're not happening all on their own. They're planned by organizations, and this is what was proven here. Now, Greta Thunberg in her wee speech that was organic and just at Glastonbury Festival, you know, this would have cost in the tens of thousands of dollars for her to have a few moments to get on the stage between bands, to get out there and put herself in front of the audience. The idea is not to share this information with that audience. The idea is to share that information on social media and make it look like she has a big following. That's the purpose of this. And this is how propaganda works, ladies and gents. This is how they trick people into believing this stuff. Now, at the end of the day, what is the result? Well, the result is the 2030 agenda and getting you eating your bugs instead of living your normal life. It's been coined the term watermelons. They're environmental green on the outside and commie red on the inside. This is a political agenda that they have. It has nothing to do with the environment. The environment is just a tool because they know we all would like to have a clean and healthy and safe and beautiful, vibrant environment. Now, the true telling factor in this one is, well, why are they not going after the biggest polluters in the world? And that's the question of the day. Why is the environmentalist movement, why don't they care about what China is doing to our oceans? Why don't they care about what China is pumping out into the globe with their increased emissions and increased CO2 production? India, much the same. Now, I don't have a dog in the fight when it came to that India thing, so if you don't quote me on any of that stuff. What I do know, because I don't really know much about what happened with the Indian farmers. What I do know is that Justin Trudeau is in there advocating that they speak with the farmers in India, while a few years later wouldn't speak to truckers. Anyway, that's all I got for you on this video. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.